Hi, this is Liz, and I want to show you how to set up a pivot table. First of all, the most important thing to get started is to make sure you don't have any empty columns as in terms of the description or the name. Um, and then also you don't want any empty rows. Um, that way your pivot table will pick up everything that you want it to include. So what I do is first just get set on your home cell here, A1, and go ahead and insert the pivot table. And this automatically selects the range that includes everything. And I always like to put it in a new worksheet. So you hit OK, and then you'll see some information here. And the most important thing is these table fields. So the filters are how we like to look at things where we want to include all or separate pieces of data. So in this case, I am going to pick an account to fit into the filters, and you'll see how this all plays out in a little while. And then one of the first things you'll want to do to see your data uh, the way you want is click on amount and just slide it down into this values piece. And then between the columns and the rows, where you want to see the bulk of the information should go into the rows. So you can do all kinds of different things. You can put like a name here, and then you'll see on the pivot table, you've got the name and the amounts of summarized of all the data that you were looking at. One item that you can use for columns is transaction type. You have just a few of the transaction types, so it makes sense to include them in the columns because it's a lot easier to scroll up and down than it is side to side. So once you get this in here, anytime you want to just look at one thing, like say look at these accounts, we can unselect and we can see design income. And this will summarize it very quickly. You can also choose a couple different things at a time. You could say sales of parts, and that way it'll show you both. Um, and then when you're looking at more than one thing, it'll tell you multiple items were selected. So I'm going to just keep all of them in there. And one way you can look at things is you can also add anything you want. You may want memo and description. And so this just kind of scrolls down and gives you some description here. And sometimes you might want to switch these. So you can just drag one thing down and it reorders everything. And then you also, if you want to format the data, you can just click on this sum. And there's you do sum count and then there's some averages minimum. But if you want to format the number, you can just use this and you can get, let's just see currency, and it'll format everything so it's a little easier to read. So I hope that helped you. I'm in a future video going to do a more advanced um, pivot table for your viewing pleasure. Thank you. Have a great day.